So, welcome back to the Nerd Paradise Podcast, my friends, with your hosts, the rambling man, Marky B.
Your concerned citizen, Harvey.
And your spawn of hell, Matthew.
So, been a while since the last week. We talked about a lot. Very heated, I believe, if I remember correctly last week.
I may have said some things that I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, but that's a usual episode on the cast.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Just.
I know you didn't just do that.
Someone had to.
We don't acknowledge that.
It exists. We acknowledge it. It happened.
Guys.
We don't have to like it.
Guys, calm down. Don't get your panties in a bunch, guys. Come on.
At least it's not Captain N.
So how were your weeks, guys?
It was pretty good. On the nerd front, I suppose it was not all too eventful.
Nothing too much. An update on the story we talked about last week about the Hobbit pub. Well, Gandalf has saved the Hobbit.
Yep, he has.
Yes, actor Ian McKellen has taken it up to save the Hobbit by telling the creators of the movies that should they close down that pub, he will quit as Gandalf for the rest of the scenes of The Hobbit. A bit late to replace one of the main characters, I would say, especially one as iconic as Gandalf.
Oh yeah, I mean, he is already the icon. He is what you see when you think of Gandalf now. So, without him, there is no other.
Yeah, no, I mean, he is the man himself, the Wizard in Grey.
Like, you would never ever replace Morgan Freeman with someone else for playing God. So,
well, at least not in the continuity of Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty.
Yes, but yeah, without. So he made the right move, actually.
You can't replace Ian McKellen because he fulfills very, very specific questions that we all have. Like, what happened? A wizard did it. How do magnets work? This old man. It simply works, and you can't just cut that out. You can't replace that.
Yes. So now, anybody that's asking about who saved the Hobbit pub, a wizard did it.
But with a different means. Movie magic and instead of a wand, a pen.
Yes. But overall, kudos to him for stepping up and saving a pub that has significance to the people of the area. I just hope that it goes the same with the cafe in Tokens Town. I just have not read any information on that, but I assume it's under the same kind of rules, like, screw you guys, just leave it alone.
Why do I think he's going to start this, fellowship just to save that? It's just going to be this whole, trek just to get to that place, that cafe.
You can't leave the Hungry Hobbit alone. Where are people going to go for second breakfast?
Or Doonsies.
Oh, yeah.
He's just going to, start recruiting people along the way.
Alright, so that's in Nerd News this week. An update for you. Anything else for you guys?
Well, for me, I'm a big Marvel geek myself. So are you, Matt. Harvey's, you like the movies.
I like the movies. I don't read most of the comics, so you could say I'm mostly a lightweight.
Yeah, yes. I like most of the movies. We shall not mention the ones that completely blow.
But yes, if you haven't seen the poster yet, guess what's gonna come out? The new, and I mean new because it will be a reboot of some sort.
Yet again,
the Wolverine, not Wolverine, the Wolverine.
Yes,
Hugh Jackman will be reprising the role, by the way. So that emotional. Again, it's the Gandalf thing all over again. You can't have another character playing Wolverine without Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this one is more of a considered a sequel, but consider it more of a sequel like how what's the Bruce Campbell movie? Ash Williams.
Not coming to mind.
Crap. We should know this.
I am completely unfamiliar with Bruce Campbell as an actor.
No, you're not. Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
It was
before we waste time here.
Anyways, if you know Bruce Campbell's famous horror movies, it's that kind of sequel you're dealing with.
Oh,
yes,
not Dawn of the Dead.
No,
and everything.
So
he's not in that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
just throwing it out there.
I'm just making speculations as to what this movie's going to be about because out of the three of us, I'm the only one who's seen the actual poster for it. Well,
so he's the expert.
Yes, because he saw the poster.
Yes. But anyways, if you've seen the poster, it will have, you can see a Japanese flag with Wolverine's claw tearing right through it, which means only one thing, and it's going to be canon to the actual comics, where he's actually he actually goes to Japan.
Oh my god, is he going to be a sushi chef?
No, he's gonna go and stomp around and be Bubzilla.
Oh.
He's gonna destroy Japan. Clearly, that's the symbolism in the poster. I mean, this is only hearsay, but I'm gunning for it.
Kidding aside.
Yeah, so kidding aside,
Kidding.
Wolverine spent many years in Japan studying Bushido and living in a small village north of Tokyo.
So, this should have been what the Wolverine origin, X-Men Origins Wolverine should have been.
Yes,
In my opinion, because that's what started off Wolverine's character, so to say.
at least that's some of the first background information you find out about him in the comics.
Basically, that's the first, isn't it?
No. Wolverine's first appearance happened in an issue of the Hulk, where he's wearing essentially a Halloween kind of costume version of his own costume, and he fights the Hulk.
Good to know.
Wow.
And it happens over 2 issues. The first one is simply a reveal at the last page of one of the issues, and then the second one is a fight between him and the Hulk.
Okay. So, anyways, he'll be basically in Japan, and those who've read the comic or know the story of it, it will focus around him. I don't know whether the actual movie will, but maybe Lady Deathstrike, which may not make sense from the second movie.
If they're trying to connect it to the second movie, then that won't make sense considering that he killed her had no idea who she was, and she was working for the enemy, etc., etc., etc.
Yes. Where was I? Yeah. So, this is before Lady Deathstrike becomes Lady Deathstrike. If the movie's actually going to go like that.
But more than likely, it's just going to deal with the Silver Samurai.
Which I hope that it happens.
And that kind of stuff.
It has to have the Silver Samurai, because if it doesn't, it does not make sense why he's in Japan.
Yes.
But, yes, that's all of it for Marvel stuff.
Yes. Now, going on to...
some gaming.
No, not yet gaming.
No?
More TV, actually, in this case.
Okay.
For the people across the pond, if you live in Britain or are just a general fan of this, the new companion for the Doctor has been announced. Her name is... I just had it here next to me. Her name being... Jenna Louise Coleman. She will be coming in around the second half of the season, which will be in the fall, really. Doctor Who really loves splitting up their seasons in weird ways. And she will be replacing both Amy and Rory, who will be leaving the show this season. No one knows what character she will play, and no one knows how the two companions that have been with Matt Smith's Doctor for this long shall be written out. One hopes that they do not die, but then again, the writers of the show do love killing Rory a lot.
Sounds ballsy anyway.
Well, not really. I mean, it's a tradition that the Doctor gets new companions every once in a while. It's just, it's always exciting to see how he loses the previous ones. And they always do something slightly different with them. Like, the last companion he lost before he changed to the 11th Doctor, he lost through the fact that he had to erase her memory, or else her brain would have fried. Just as these things happen.
Okay.
So, yes, she will be the new companion. Not many people may have heard of her. She hasn't done much work in science fiction, but she does have drama experience, which is going to be much different from the comedic take that Rory gives, or the role of Amy being kind of like feisty. Though she is what you could call sexy, so that will work. Let's just hope we don't have another relationship like the 9th and 10th Doctors had with Rose. Once was enough. We don't need something that blatantly obvious. Plus, at least that had a happy ending. Alright, now we move on to gaming news of the week.
Shall I start or shall you?
All yours, Mark.
Well, one of the games I played as a child, in a different way, was Diablo. And guess what's coming out? Diablo 3. It's going to come out soon. They haven't really discussed when it's going to come out, but
They've launched trailers a few months ago. They've been posting information about it, class information.
They've had the beta testing out, and people have been having some great responses to that.
Yes.
now
Everything seems to be going well, but instead of giving the release date set, they're just saying it'll be finished when it will be finished.
which I think is great, because think about it nowadays, where you have games that aren't really finished, but will be finished when you get DLC stuff.
Yes.
Which to me is...
Which we will go into that in a bit later on.
But basically, what I'm saying is, with DLC, usually with DLC, you'd think it'd be extra stuff, not, stuff you'd need to complete the story, or, in your mind, the complete story.
Again, we'll go into that later.
But I think this is a smart move by the creators of Diablo, because that way the fans will get the fans who loved Diablo before will get a fuller fulfillment out of it.
Yes. Considering that fans have waited, what has it been, 10 years since Diablo 2?
Somewhere
At
there.
least. I
Somewhere
mean,
And possibly 12.
I think Diablo 2 came out around the time I got my first computer.
Okay, so it's been over a decade that there's been a break between the two games.
More than a decade. I think that was
Yeah, so when...
a dozen years at least.
Yeah, so given that, putting the game off a few more months is probably reasonable for the fans to wait for it. Because if it's going to be that long, they want it to be worth the wait and worth the whole build-up to it. It has to be the right game, within reason.
Now, within reason, but also you must remember that unlike another game that came out not too long ago that took over 10 years to complete, Duke Nukem, it will not be complete shit.
Yes. Blizzard is usually very, very
Yes,
good
they
about
usually know what they're
quality of their
doing.
games.
The people that picked up the Duke Nukem game, what the hell did you do to our game? But this is not about complaining about Duke Nukem. This is talking about Diablo 3, and that is coming out soon. One would hope by the end of summer, but we shall see.
Again.
They might even try for a holiday release.
Hey, I'd be okay with waiting. I mean, if it's to a better game, I say it's worth the wait.
Exactly.
Yes. But they have said that it's going to be within this year.
Yes. One thing that I really like about Blizzard is they don't fold to the idea of a due date. They will postpone the release of a game to make sure that it comes out and it's
Of
right.
a game, yes, but Blizzard does like to do due dates for any of its WoW expansions.
Yes. That was one problem that they had.
Yes, but
with,
but mind you, with the thing with Blizzard, they usually don't release any information about the WoW expansions per the kind of that you would release for a full video game.
Yes. And granted, when the first version of Vanilla World of Warcraft came out, there were a lot of things that ended up needing to be fixed in patches.
Yes,
but
they've
they
learned
did get
from
on
their
that right
mistakes.
away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they've come a long way since then.
Oh,
and unlike companies like Electronic Arts, which I have experienced in the past, where they will have a certain due date that they will push the developers to.
We shall mention EA again later
Yes.
on.
I have even a small personal issue with them, and I've talked about the game Warhammer Online. I have some beef with EA because they...
Harvey, could you smack Mark for that?
No, I'm afraid I can't. They are the reason that
Fine.
the game
I'll
came
whack him
out
with the microphone
a
later.
long time before they had fixed and smoothed out a lot of the bugs with it and a lot of core issues. And part of the reason why it couldn't compete with World of Warcraft for very long.
Yeah.
And I will touch upon some Warhammer-related ideas in a little bit, but that's not for now. Moving along.
Alright, so that seems to be it for news for the week, but we shall now touch upon one of the big events that happened this week. The season finale of The Walking Dead. Now, the rest of this segment shall be dedicated to that. So people that do not wish to hear spoilers or simply want to keep their own opinions about it, you may stop listening at this point. Anyone still listening now, you have been warned.
Yeah.
Mark?
So, it's finally done, Matt.
Yes, finally, the season that was drawn out beyond belief. That had so many episodes that went nowhere.
Well, I've been watching The Talking Dead after each episode.
So have I, and honestly, that doesn't help.
But they explain the fact. To me, I understand what they're trying to show here. They're trying to show more of the dramatical side rather than, horror trying to
Well, yes,
but
but
zombie killing.
there's a drama that works, and then there's drama that goes nowhere. The drama of the season with Shane was essentially like a record that kept on skipping. Same shit, different episode. Shane wants to take over. Rick does something that stops Shane for a bit. Things are still tense. Next episode, Shane says to Andrea, I gotta take over.
Now see, here's the thing.
Rinse and repeat.
Here's the thing, though. I'm going to ask you this question. Does it create a bit more of an emotional attachment to those characters? Especially Shane, because he's already received that big payoff.
It creates an attachment, but there are many ways to create an attachment without having a character sound like a broken record for over half the season. There are ways that you can show that the character wants to accomplish something without having him to constantly repeat it, okay? And he did, at least once an episode to Andrea or someone similar, he repeated his intentions.
But it shows...
And no, okay? It once was enough. Twice is fine. Almost a dozen times, sometimes 3 times in a single episode? No. Okay? No. You don't do that. Okay? Shane's death made me happy for so many reasons. One of which was we didn't have to deal with him constantly saying, I want to take over. Okay? It shut him up.
Well, I see it your way, and I also see it what I've been witnessing with other people. Again, with me, I like to see both sides of the coin. With what they're doing, I think it's what they just did right now with this previous season. I think it was fine. It was fine. It was fine the way it was, because if you're thinking of this through the manga, the comic, you gotta realize with shows that are based in this case loosely based on comics, they shows will tend to drag on more than the comic.
Mark, that's only if it's it's needing to drag for the reason of it doesn't want to overtake the comic. In this case, the comic is over 82 to 90 issues in, and the fact of the matter is that they did not stay at that farm longer than 2 issues. They got out of there fast because Herschel wanted them out of there. Okay, it was not some week upon week long back and forth. And the fact of the matter is, many plots went absolutely nowhere. Like the hunters that kid that they were held hostages with, that went absolutely nowhere.
Now, see, I'm thinking of a different way. If they actually do this or not, or they just make you completely forget about this.
How many times have they made us completely forget about certain aspects in this show so far that are not coming back as confirmed by the creators at the last episode of Talking Dead, where they said only a third of the characters that they mentioned, the two ones from the beginning and Merle, only a third of them will be coming back. I'm voting on Merle more than likely.
That's where I'm saying where it ties in with the hunters, or well, whatever those people
maybe, but
because
I would not put it past them to just completely forget about the hunters now that they're away from the farm. The writing staff of this episode writes characters well, but overall story arcs they seem to either forget about or drag. For instance, the thing that's been commented on quite a bit was the fact that while at the farm, up until the point where Shane was shot by Carl, you almost saw no zombies. Was there an invisible force field surrounding the land of the farm there that kept zombies away? I mean, there were zombies literally a 15-minute drive away from them at the town, where they dealt with a horde. Are you telling me that horde couldn't travel 1 hour or so shambling distance it would take them to get to the farm? Bullshit.
What about how about that fence at the end?
That fence was taken down by a horde. That's what I'm saying. The
horde?
Horde. Okay.
That would make it a different but interesting show as well.
Well, technically,
that's for those are for the necrophiliac fans.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you look at one of the zombies that was at the lead of that pack, she looked like a whore.
Oh, jeez.
She did.
Anyways,
moving on. No, but the fact of the matter is that Mark can mention that fence all he wants. There was large amounts of zombies just around in the areas outside that farm that could have easily taken on that fence that you didn't need some large group from Atlanta to do.
Yeah, but it also shows the fact. Well, I don't know about the force field. I don't know how they explain that.
Well, they didn't.
But
they just explained the fact that if they were out on that farm, you almost never saw a zombie. Okay, the only zombies you saw were the ones in the barn, the ones that had to be there for plot purposes, and that's about it. Okay, as in plot purposes being the ones that Herschel and Rick tried to put into the barn when Rick was trying to convince them to let them stay, and the one that they had kill Dale.
But doesn't that... Well, in a sense, I think...
That's three zombies in the amount of weeks that they were there on that farm.
Yeah, but it gives them the sense of that they're safe in the farm.
Yes, it gives them a sense of safety, but you gotta remember that there's a sense of safety, and then there's a sense of nothing's going on that should be going on when there's, as reported, the dead outnumber you 10-1.
Okay. I also see that point. But also, you gotta... I'm thinking of this through what they're trying to be writing, what they're trying to write here.
What they were writing was essentially a high school drama fest.
In a sense... But again,
not in a sense. In exactly that's what happened. Okay?
Well, they're trying.
There was a back and forth between the two alpha males of the group for more than half the season. That is a high school drama bullshit that you see on shows like One Tree Hill.
But again, they're like they said on Talking Dead. They're not writing for just the zombie
No, I'm not saying to just deal with the zombie stuff. It's fine for them to add in the drama. I expect the drama. That is at the core of The Walking Dead. But I do not expect the drama to drag to the point where they have lost viewers because of it.
I see your point. But here's another point.
Okay, they lost a lot of the people that first came on from season 2 because they heard good things about season 1. The fact of the matter is that you didn't get the kind of good stuff that season 1 had. Okay, I find the fact that season 1 was shorter was a good thing because the writers there knew exactly what story they were trying to tell. They didn't have to drag it out for episodes that went nowhere.
Now, see, I agree with you on that.
A shorter season worked.
But I also think of this way. And to those fans who complain about there's not enough zombie killing, there's not enough,
Yeah. Please remember that this is not a zombie killing fest kind of series. The series is to focus on the survivors, who they themselves are the Walking Dead, not the zombies.
Yeah.
Okay? They are. So that's the focus of the story. Okay, so don't complain that there isn't a zombie killing, because they have that down pat. They have it at fair amount of numbers, but they need a way to keep the story progressing so it doesn't seem like it's being stagnant.
Yes.
Like the swamp around part of the land of the farm. Just part. Okay? So I don't want any excuses in comments saying, but there's a swamp around the farm. That should stop zombies. If that was the case, whenever a character went out to that swamp, they should have seen essentially a garden of the undead.
But yes, I agree with you, Matt. I agree with your points. I just think of it like of a way that with they're trying to build up to something. They're trying to build up to something.
Yes, if you're trying to build up to something, then you
just for a bigger payoff.
Yeah, but if you were going to build up to something, what you should have built up to is Shane actually trying an outright coup, not Shane just trying to, at the second to last episode, try and kill Rick.
Now, see, I was excited about that whole him dragging off Randall so he could go to the other group. I thought he was going to be the leader of the other group.
That's what I was kind of expecting, that Shane does that, he gets the other group, becomes the alpha male there, and the season finale is actually Shane being killed while trying to overtake the farm, and then the zombies come in.
Okay, yeah.
That would have been awesome. Okay? Instead, you get Shane doing a low-handed trick, and the only real payoff there is that they confirm something that the writers obviously forgot about. That the fact that everyone's infected and everyone comes back to life. They obviously forgot about that fact, or nobody told anybody about that fact in episode 1 of season 2, with all the dead people they had in the cars. How come they weren't reanimated? Huh? If everyone's infected, how come they weren't? What made those people so special that all they did was wither up and die? That, my friends, is called a plot hole. It sucks.
Well, you can't have everything being perfect.
No, but this is supposedly a secret that was told to the cast at the end of the last season, and everybody on the show knew that. And it's as if the writers, when they wrote the first episode of season 1, season 2, completely forgot about that for the entire episode. Okay, go back, people, if you forgot. Watch that episode when they're in that highway. Watch how many cars they go by with withered up bodies. I mean, Carl takes a knife set from a corpse. And anybody that read the comic would know that everybody's infected. Everyone is expecting that corpse to come out and attack him. But it doesn't. It's dead. So what made that person so special that he wasn't infected? What made all those other people so special? Nothing. It was just lazy writing.
No, don't detract that what Matt says. He still enjoys the series.
I enjoy the series, yes, but I will still point out what they do wrong. I will point out what's done wrong with my most favorite things in the world, because I, unlike other people, will not put stuff right on a pedestal. I can see the bad in certain situations. For instance, in the episode Dale Dies. Why is nobody watching the 10-year-old during a zombie apocalypse?
Again,
they got too complacent at that farm. Okay? Too into the safety of it. That's not right.
Well, that's the thing. They believe the farm is safe.
Yes, but you're not supposed to do that. Logically speaking, if you know that the world around you is screwed up, and you have one safe haven, you have to be aware of the fact that the stuff that's screwed up around you can come to the farm at any point. So you have to be constantly vigilant, especially with the younger members of your group. That it happened with Sophia, that they weren't vigilant with her. It could have happened to Carl. Instead, they let Dale die because the little kid could not shoot the zombie in the head when it was still freaking stuck in the mud.
Now, see, you're I've already tried to argue with you about this before, and you have your own opinion.
No,
and I have mine. and I keep trying to reiterate something, and you don't.
Well, you can state your opinion. You have to, so that these people know what your opinion is.
Well, okay. Well, my opinion is that with the whole Carl thing and the whole like not watching, you're in a state of disaster. You're in a state of chaos. Some things are not going to process right through your minds.
All right, and that's fair, except for the fact that there's at least 3 to 6 people on that farm that at any given moment, all they are doing is stuff in the house. Okay? Either cleaning or cooking or just homely kind of things because they're complacent. And if that's going on, that's all fine and well. That's allowed. I mean, you could be comfortable and keep the place where you're trying to hold up be comfortable. But while you're doing that, keep the 10-year-old in your sight. Okay? Do not let the 10-year-old wander away to where he can get in trouble. How many times this season has Carl done something that got him in trouble? Let's see. The zombie thing being one obvious one. How about the fact when he snuck into the barn to look at the prisoner? How about the fact when he managed to walk away right before Rick was going to shoot the guy?
Now,
how about the fact when he walked away to find Rick while they were out hunting the guy? These are all times where you should be watching the child, especially at night.
Now, see, this is. I'd like to stay on that fact for a moment. For those who are saying that it was basically Carl's fault, and again, you guys are giving too much credit to a kid. A 10-year-old kid.
I am not blaming Carl for the death of Dale, but I am blaming people for not watching Carl. Okay?
Now, see, that's why I'm respecting your opinion more than what others are saying right now.
Carl is a kid. I can understand the fact that he would hesitate for his first kill. Fine. But that's why you have to watch the kid so he doesn't have to be in a position where he has to do that.
Not just that. I mean, people are telling me, saying stuff like, "Oh, you did a stupid move, Carl. You did it. Why did you take the gun?" This kid, reiterate, 10-year-old kid. He's in a state of chaos. You got machismo this way, machismo that way, and he's in this like state of. I want to be machismo too. I want to have that macho attitude. I want to be the head honcho when I grow up.
Which, again, is why you have to watch him. And with all the testosterone around, of course the kid wants to be part of it. What kid doesn't want to be included in the group, especially when he's the only kid?
Again, kids want to be grown up. So when he saw that gun, when he's like, and that whole scene with him getting Daryl's gun out of his bike, which, by the way, I saw the SS on the bike. I saw that SS on the bike.
Well, that's because that bike originally belonged to Merle, who we know was a racist little bum.
But you see him act like a child because while he's looking through with the bike, he goes vroom vroom and like starts handling the handles.
Yes, if he hadn't done that, that would have just really taken away from that scene because you have to still remind people that he's still a kid. Okay.
Yes. Even in this chaotic world, he's this kid.
Yeah.
Now that,
a mouthy little fucker, but a kid.
But now that he's given more responsibility by Rick giving him the gun.
Yes.
I think it's going to get much more better. Also, so I'd like to move on from that fact.
Now, the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is the characters themselves.
Yes.
Like, due to budget cuts, a lot of characters have taken lesser roles. One being, obviously, T-Dog, who barely had any lines in the last few episodes.
First season, he had such a better role.
Yeah.
I'd say.
But
he was a victim of racism.
Yeah.
And he was the more, like... He was, in a sense, another moral character. Where in the episode with the Vato's episode, where he's at the roof and going in sniper position, he's like, "Please just give us, please just hand over Glenn. Just do it. Come on."
Yeah. No, but Yeah, like budget cuts have affected certain characters, but others are doing fairly well. Like you can't say anything bad about Daryl.
No, you can't.
No, like the guy's doing an awesome job as the character.
He is now Rick's enforcer.
Yeah, Rick's enforcer, but also Rick's right-hand man. And if my prediction that he's taking Tyrell's position, sorry, I forget his name off the top of my head from the comics, then he's also going to be taking the role of Rick's best friend this season.
Yes.
Now, there's one character that does truly piss me off. Lori.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lori and her reaction to when Rick told her he killed Shane.
Now,
what the fuck, Lori? You, a couple of episodes, told Rick, and I quote, I want you to deal with Shane. You didn't say it in a way that implied talking to him. You didn't say it in a way that implied simply imposing order on him.
No, just
your tone specifically implied that you wanted Shane gotten rid of by any means necessary. You essentially told Rick to kill him. Rick even questioned you by saying, do you want me to kill him? And you told him, whatever is necessary. And then this finale, Rick tells you he killed Shane to protect you. And what do? You get pissed off. What?
Now, see, that didn't make sense to me.
Where do you get the balls, woman? Where? You tell him to do that, he does that, and you get pissed? No. You'll be happy he did what you wanted him to do. You'll be happy that you are safe from the guy that would have killed you all at some point.
All right. But also look back to that. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Look back to that whole scene with her and Shane and him fixing...
the fan?
Yes.
Yeah. She essentially does the same thing with Shane, where she tries to get on his good side and something, but instead just puts fire to the... puts air... just fans the flames of Shane wanting to get rid of Rick.
Now see, this is where I think...
And Lori has been portrayed as smart enough to know that. That's essentially what she's doing. She knows that Shane's a problem, and what she's doing is essentially fueling his fire for wanting Rick out of the picture. Okay? She's not trying to include him in the group. Okay? She's not trying to accept his forgiveness. What she's doing is essentially telling him that he should be in charge. That's what Shane was hearing at that point. That's why Shane did what he did. Lori, if you hadn't talked to Shane, he may have not been that drastic, okay? He may have even been able to be put in his place by Rick eventually. It is your fault shit went down. You are to blame.
Moving on, because I agree with everything he said.
Yeah, you cannot deny my logic there.
What I want to move on to is this weird, disturbing relationship build between Daryl and Carol.
I stick by the fact that it's probably a reference to the comic where Carol latched on to the black guy who isn't in the TV series, and she will eventually possibly end up being killed come next season, either by killing herself when she gets heartbroken when Daryl ends up with the katana-wielding woman, or by one of the prisoners that they're going to encounter in the prison.
Which, by the way, I'm kind of wondering, because, spoiler alert, just in case,
we gave spoiler alert long ago, Mark. We don't need to give another one.
Well...
No. We explained, so disregard that. He's being silly.
Whatever you say. Now, the prison, again, back on my disturbing thing, those who have not read past, like, want to know about the prison, there's going to be some very interesting characters, let's say, at the prison. For one, there will be...
we cannot say there will be, okay? Because they have changed things.
Yes.
There might be.
There might be. Whether they want to put this in or not, I don't know if this is the first in like horror genre, but there might be a homosexual relationship between two of the prisoners at the prison.
Yes, if they include the inmates, which I really hope they do, because the fact of the matter is that if they end up in simply an empty prison, then we're back at the farm kind of situation, minus the drama of Shane.
And
okay, so essentially what we're going to be dealing with is the drama of people reacting to Rick growing up hair finally.
I believe there was a scene in the comic where they actually show one of the sex scenes with some of the homosexual.
They show
prisoners.
that, and they show the scene where the katana-wielding woman gives head to the black guy, which in this case I am rooting for the fact that the black guy's role is being played by Daryl. And considering this is AMC, and they, like HBO, play their shows fast and loose, they may heavily imply those kind of scenes.
Yeah, well, I think it gives it more depth. As much it may be disturbing to kids of the younger persuasion,
who really shouldn't be watching the show anyways,
it gives the story much more a better feel in a sense. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, but they have confirmed someone for the role of the governor.
It's not true.
No?
No, they're saying that the governor will be there, but it will be in the second half of the next season, and they have not cast it. The only person that they have cast is the katana-wielding woman, Michonne.
Which I think is cool. You got a katana-wielding black woman.
Yeah, you finally have a character in the series that not only is able to survive on her own in this world, but completely thrive and be successful in it because she knows what the hell is supposed to be done here.
Also,
without being a dick.
Now that Shane's gone, you need another type of crazy. And this girl
is not... No.
No.
No, she's not crazy whatsoever, actually.
Well, what about the whole... her dragging along the two walkers with her boyfriend and her...
That is not crazy, okay? Crazy would be if she was dragging them around and they still had their jaws into her claws. Okay, she is more sane than anyone for the fact that she wants to keep her loved ones safe without having to kill them, but keeping them around her by getting rid of those things that can infect her, and thus, by them being near her, their scent rubs off on her, and she's not attacked.
I guess
that is intelligence. Okay?
Yeah, I will agree
You keep
with
yourself
that.
from doing something that everybody in the zombie apocalypse doesn't want to do, kill your loved ones. You keep them with you. Sure, they're undead, but they're with you. And you keep yourself safe. Okay, that's not insanity. Maybe a little bit wacky, but that is probably the smartest thing that anyone's ever done.
Either way, she's gonna... wherever they're gonna take her, what the writers will take her to, whatever depths or interests for the fans, whatever they're gonna do, it's going to be good, in my perspective, because with this introduction of her, this is what elevates the story.
Yes. We finally get a competent character. So hopefully things will go well, and the next season will be just as awesome, and hopefully we'll draw in more viewers. For instance, our friend here who's been silent the last little while.
Yeah, I have not actually watched any of The Walking Dead. And to be honest, I haven't really found a whole lot of interest in doing so. I don't dismiss the show. I've heard great things about it. Of course, these guys are very passionate about it, but I've personally found no particular reason to be drawn to it. And there's nothing wrong with it.
At first, I was the way you were. And
yes, Mark essentially did not watch the first season.
It was only until lots of bugging from a lot of people, not just Matt, but a lot of people, to get me to watch this show. And as soon as I watched the first episode, I enjoyed it fully. Not because, of course, I've stated this before, is because I like the whole human interest of it all.
Okay. I can respect that. I personally have kind of a reverse effect when I get any sort of peer pressure to watch something or read or play something. When it's hyped up that much, it kind of pushes me away from it.
I'm the same way.
Says the guy that was against synchro monsters for so long, and then suddenly is using them in every deck he has.
Well, that's a little bit different of everyone saying this is so good, this is so good. That is when that becomes the standard. I moved along and I adapted.
Yes.
That's something
and
different.
That's the same thing with The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is becoming the standard for a proper horror drama kind of situation.
Yes, but this is a very different sort of context. That's a card game, and that's current strategy and keeping up with the metagame and everything. This is watching TV.
Yes, but this is keeping up with things that almost everyone you know shall talk about.
Yeah, but again,
but of course, in the end, it is Harvey's decision, and should he take some time and check it out, all the better for him. If not, come later on when the next season starts playing, we'll may see more silent episodes where we don't get his fantastic puns.
Yes, the pun king.
Yes,
but yeah,
and
I think that's it.
That's about it. We went a little bit over, but anyone that's still listening, I hope you enjoyed that
and
semi-ranting that I went through.
Otherwise, this is where I didn't rant this time.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next part.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
More spoilers ahead, but this time of Mass Effect. So please be aware of that. Thank you.